yesterday's topic, in which we were talking about how a monopolist can maximize his profit, and the level at which the profit of a monopolist is maximum is MR is equal to MC. The point where marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost, that point is the point of maximum profit for the monopolist. And a monopolist is able to sell at a price which is higher than its average cost. So that is why he makes profit. This is the area of profit. The point B is the point where the average total cost is there, and this A point is the price at which the monopolist is selling that product. So the cost is lower and the price is higher. We can think in terms of average cost per unit also, but we can also think in terms of the overall cost of the firm, overall revenue of the firm, and overall cost of the firm. But we can also think in terms of averages, that what is the average price at which the firm is selling, and what is the average cost at which average cost per unit that the firm is incurring, and the difference is the profit. So in a monopoly market, normally the monopolist has control over the price. So that is why he fixes a price which is higher than the average cost, and the difference is his profit. And some of you might have, might be seeing right now, there is a program coming on Sony TV, Shark India. So Shark Tank India. So you might have observed that the one of the point on which in which most of the sharks are interested is the margin. They ask, what is the margin of the business? What is the gross margin? What is the net margin? So if the business is a monopoly business, if the business is a monopoly business, in that case, the margin is expected to be very good, because the pricing is under the control of the business. But if there is a lot of competition in the market, so normally the competition drives or minimizes or impacts the margin, and the margin of the business is it becomes lower. The margin of the business becomes lower. Margin is nothing but the difference between price and cost. That is the margin. If we adjust only for major costs, then we call it gross margin. And if we adjust for some other types of costs, like interest cost and taxes, etc., then we call it net margin. How much money ends up at the end of the period. So that is the end net margin. So a monopolist's margin is expected to be higher than the margin of a firm which is operating in a perfect competition. So we can understand this with an example of a castle, that every business is like a castle, like Qila ki tarah, and we have to protect that business using a moat. So there is another term which is related with this, that is called MOAT. In investment fraternity, this word is used, which actually means that how protected a business is from competition. And normally we try to gauge about the moat of a business using its margin. If the margin is high, then we say that the business has some moat. And if the margin of the business is low, then there is no moat in that business. So normally branded businesses have some moat. every brand making effort is basically an effort to create a moat for the business. There is a castle, and around that castle we have to dig some pond type uh, circle, so that the enemy cannot enter into that castle. So that is called moat. So if we are building a brand of our product, it actually means we are building a moat around our business, so that we are saving ourselves from the pressure of competition. Because customers will be, they will buy our product and they will become a repeated buyer because of our brand recognition, not because of some product feature. Then this is a situation in which the monopolist's cost is equal to its price, and this is the level at which it will just break even. But this does not happen in reality. Normally the average cost is lower, or normally the prices are set at a higher level than the cost. And if prices are set in such a manner that it is lower than the average cost, or if the monopolist is not able to produce or manufacture the product at a price at which he can sell that product in the market, in that case the monopolist can also make losses in exceptional cases where the cost overrun is very high. Cost overrun means the seller or manufacturer is not able to control the cost, and average cost is coming out to be very high, and the monopolist is not able to sell at that much high price, and the price is lower, the cost is higher, and the difference is called loss. So in some cases the monopolist can also make losses hypothetically, but this does not happen. Normally a monopolist is always in profit. So for a competitive firm, price equals marginal cost. So in a perfect competition, this is the situation. But in a monopoly market, the prices are normally higher than marginal revenue and marginal cost. But in a perfect competition, the prices are normally equal to the marginal revenue and marginal cost. This is the difference between perfect competition and monopoly firm. That a monopoly firm has control over the pricing, so the prices are set higher than its marginal revenue and marginal cost. Then these are some of the equations through which we can calculate the total revenue. Profit is nothing but difference between total revenue minus total cost, TR minus TC. Similarly, TR divided by quantity minus total cost divided by quantity multiplied by quantity. Then the third way of approaching profit is price minus average cost per unit, or average total cost. This portion will calculate the profit per unit, and if we will multiply this portion by the quantity, then it will become total profit. So if we multiply per unit profit by total quantity sold, that will become total profit of the firm. The concept of price discrimination is also related with a monopoly market, because as we know that in a perfect competition, every firm is price taker, not price giver. So in a perfect competition, a firm is a price taker, so it cannot make any decision regarding pricing, because prices are already given in the market by the forces of demand and supply. It is fixed by the forces of demand and supply, and a single firm does not have any control over the price. But in a monopoly, the monopolist has control over the prices. It can reduce prices, it can increase prices. The firm can charge different prices from different customers. So the practice of charging different prices from different customers for the same product is called price discrimination. Price discrimination. Charging different customers different prices for the same product. It's not that we are selling different type of product. The product is same, but we are charging different prices for the same product. When the price differences are not due to the differences in production cost, the production cost of those products are same, but the firm is charging different prices from different customers, and this practice is known as price discrimination. Practice of charging different prices to different consumers for similar goods. All pricing strategies are always capturing consumer surplus and transferring it to the producer. Consumer surplus is the difference between what a consumer is willing to pay and what the consumer actually pays when buying it. So that difference is called consumer surplus. If a consumer is willing to pay a higher price for the same product, but the firm is charging a lower price from that consumer, so basically the company is leaving an opportunity of profit that can be earned from that customer. So that portion is called consumer surplus. So all pricing strategies are basically to capture that portion that is called consumer surplus. That first the firm has to guess about how much consumers are actually willing to pay, and then it may fix a price which is just maximum price, the maximum price that the consumers are willing to pay. In that way the firm can make more money out of its customers. So all pricing strategies or the price discrimination or the practice of charging different prices from different consumers or customers is basically an effort to exploit consumer surplus. Exploit consumer surplus. Consumer surplus is what? Consumer surplus is the difference between what a consumer is willing to pay and what the actual what he is actually paying. That difference is called consumer surplus. And why this happens? Because a firm it is very difficult to charge different prices from different customers. The firm has to fix some prices for all its customers, but sometimes it adopts price discrimination also. So this graph shows the consumer surplus graphically, and so say for example the price at which the firm is right now selling is P star, and this Q star is the quantity at that the firm is selling, and there is only one price that has been fixed by the there is no market segmentation. All customers are being treated in a similar manner. The prices are same for all customers. In that case, total revenue will be P star minus Q star, P star multiplied by Q star. So that will be total revenue. But this has some issue. What is that issue? There might be one customer here. This region is called A region, from P max to this point. This region is A region, region A. So region A is that region, or it represents those consumers who are willing to pay a price which is more than P star. So P1 is more than P star. So there may be a lot of customers in the market who may be willing, who may be ready to pay a price more than P star, that is the price that has been fixed by the firm. So if the firm is fixing a price P star, it is leaving out all those consumers who are actually willing to pay more than P star, a price which is more than P star. So this area is consumer surplus. This area is consumer surplus area, because if the firm decides to fix a price of P1, in that case also some consumers will be, will purchase that product. Of course, the quantity will be less. There will be less consumers, less consumers who are willing to pay a higher price. And say, for example, at this level, the maximum price at this level, maybe there is the firm will not find any consumer, so the quantity will be zero. But at this price, maybe P2, P3, whatever it is, the firm will find some consumers. So this area is known, that this shaded area is called consumer surplus. This is one way. There is another area of consumer surplus that is denoted by B. This is B. B is that region if the firm decides to reduce the price. If the firm decides to reduce the price from P star to P2, in that case, some additional consumers will come in and they will purchase that product because of lower prices. So that is denoted by this region, B. This region denotes or represents those consumers who will purchase the product of that firm if the firm reduces the price. If the firm decides to reduce the price, then the firm will find additional buyers, additional consumers. So this region is also a region of consumer surplus. So if the prices are reduced from P star to P2, where P2 is lower than P star, similarly this is P3 or PC. This is the minimum price at which the firm can sell, because at this level the cost is the lowest. And if a price is fixed which is here, like say for example like this, but so at this level the cost is higher and the price will be lower, so this will be a region of loss. So there will be a minimum price at which the firm can sell, and that level is the level where marginal cost is equal to that price. So this is this line. So that region, a lot of consumers are left out because they wait that if the prices are lower, then they can purchase. So if the firm is deciding a single price, then basically it is leaving out such customers. Such customers who are willing to purchase that product at a lower price, and at the same time there may be some consumers who are willing to pay a higher price for the same product. And this is called consumer surplus. So all pricing strategies are basically to capture this consumer surplus, are intended. The aim of all pricing strategies is to capture this consumer surplus. So how this consumer surplus is captured? That this consumer surplus is captured using price differentiation, price discrimination, and price discrimination is charging different prices for the same product. The requirements for successful price discrimination. A successful strategy of price discrimination has 3 requirements. Not all firms can practice price discrimination. What are the conditions? What are the requirements, prerequisites for a firm to practice price discrimination? The first point is the firm must possess some market power or pricing power, or some monopolistic power or monopoly power. If the firm is operating in a perfect competition, then a single firm does not possess any market power or pricing power. its margin is already very lower, so it cannot charge different prices from different customers for the same product. So this is the first condition, that the firm should possess some market power. Market power here means pricing power or monopoly power. Then the second point is some consumers must have a greater willingness to pay. There must be diversity among consumers. Some consumers at least must have a greater willingness to pay for the product than other consumers. And the firm must be able to know what prices customers are willing to pay. So there should be some categorization possible in the consumers on the basis of their willingness to pay. Just like we have, different economy class and business class in airline. So airline have an idea that there are some consumers who are willing to pay a higher price for, they are willing to pay for business class. So in the same flight, different flyers fly, and the amount of fare they are paying is much different from each other. This is possible because the company is able to differentiate different consumers on the basis of their willingness to pay, how much they are able to, how much they are willing to pay. If the willingness to pay is different, then price discrimination can be practiced. The third point is the firm must be able to divide up or segment the market for the product. So market segmentation should be possible. If there is no segmentation possible, then price discrimination cannot be practiced. The market for the product, so that consumers who buy the product at a lower price are not able to resell it at a higher price. In other words, price discrimination will not work if arbitrage is possible. Arbitrage means, if, say, for example, if the same product is available at different prices in different market. So what I will do as an arbitrager, I will purchase that product at a place where it is available at a lower price, and I will try to sell that product uh, at a place which is where I can sell that at a higher price. So the difference will be my profit. So arbitrage should not be possible. Arbitrage should not be possible. If there is arbitrage, one customer can pass on the benefit to other consumers. In that case, price discrimination will fail. So price discrimination is only possible if there is no arbitrage possible in the market between consumers, among consumers. Otherwise, consumers will transfer the benefit to other consumers, and the price discrimination will fail. So these are some basic conditions. These are some basic conditions that are prerequisite for a firm to practice price discrimination. Price discrimination can be of various degrees. The first one is first degree of price discrimination. Practice of charging each customer her reservation price is called first degree of price discrimination. It is an extreme case where it is a hypothetical case where if there are 100 customers, then we will charge the maximum or price or reservation price from each customer. So this practice is known as first degree of price discrimination. It is maximum price. What is reservation price? Reservation price is the maximum price that a customer is willing to uh, pay. That price is called reservation price. Reservation price is the maximum price that a customer is willing to pay for a good. No consumer surplus. So if the firm is able to practice is first degree of price discrimination, in this case, there won't be any consumer surplus left. All consumer surplus will be exploited by the firm. So also known as perfect price discrimination. So first degree of price discrimination is called perfect price discrimination. The additional profit from producing and selling an incremental unit is now the difference between demand and marginal cost. So these are the different points: P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6. So these denote different prices that the firm is able to charge from different customers. So from customer A, the price that is charged is P1. From customer B, the price that is being charged is P2, like this. So actually, the firm is able to charge different prices from each customer, until unless the lowest price should not be lower than marginal cost, because in that case, the firm will make losses. So the P6 is the lowest price at which it can make price discrimination. So firms usually don't know the reservation price of every customer, but sometimes reservation prices can be roughly identified. Here, 6 different prices are charged. The firm earns higher profits, but some consumers may also benefit. Some consumers may also benefit means those customers which are who are not ready to purchase that product at price P4, now they will benefit because the firm is also selling the same product as at a price which is P6, which is lower. So some consumers may benefit from this practice of price discrimination, but the opposite is also true, that because of price discrimination, some consumers will be expected to pay more because they are willing to pay more, so they will make more payment. So this is working in both ways. The only way of perfect price discrimination is auction. Auction is a through auction we can charge each customer his or her reservation price. Reservation price means the maximum price that one is able to pay or willing to pay. One is willing to pay, that price is called reservation price. So that can be done only through auction. It is usually impractical to charge each and every customer a different price unless there are only a few customers. So if there are only few customers, then we can do that. But if the customer size is very large, then perfect price discrimination will be difficult. A firm usually does not know the reservation price of each customer. Even if customers are asked, it probably does not receive honest answer. So even if the firm asks different customers about their reservation price, they will not respond honestly, because why somebody would make an honest answer if he or she is expecting that as a result of his or her response, the firm will increase the prices. So normally, this perfect price discrimination is very hard to practice by different companies, but sometimes in some special cases it can be practiced using auction. So for example, auction of different rare items are being done in the market. So there is an art market. In the art market, normally the articles are sold using auction. So the prices are also very high. So the maximum prices are charged from customers in the art and rare items market. The second degree of price discrimination is the practice of charging different prices per unit for different quantities of the same good or service. Sometimes what happens is that a company may charge different prices for different quantities of the product. So if we are purchasing low quantity from that company, the prices will be different. And if you are purchasing in bulk, if the size of our purchase is very big, then In that case, the firm may give us some discount. So this practice is called, a second degree of price discrimination, where prices vary depending on the quantities of the same product or service. The quality is same, the product is same. The only difference is the quantity, how much a consumer is ordering. One related practice is called block pricing. Practice of charging different prices for different quantities or blocks of a goods. So this is one of the application of the second degree of price discrimination, block pricing. So depending on the blocks, say for example, if you are going to purchase 100 quantity, then price will be this. If you are going to purchase more than 500 units, then the price will be different, like that. So a firm may adopt some policies regarding this also. So this is called second degree of price discrimination. Then we have a third variation of price discrimination, in which we segment the market into different categories. Practice of dividing consumers into two or more groups with separate demand curves and charging different prices to each group. Market segmentation based demographics and psychographic factors. So market can be segmented on various bases, for example, demographic and psychographic factors also. This is also example of third degree of price discrimination. That is this is one of the example of third degree of price discrimination, intertemporal price discrimination. Intertemporal means at different points of time charging different prices. For example, during peak hours, the firm may charge a higher price, and during normal hours the price will be different. You might have noticed this is what different ride booking companies, for example Ola, Uber, they practice this, that during peak hours when offices close in the evening at 6 and 5 after 5 p.m. The peak load charges, some extra charges are levied on the customers. But if the same Uber or Ola is booked at 12 p.m., then the prices may be different. So this practice is called intertemporal price discrimination. And the same thing you might have noticed in Swiggy and Zomato also, that during peak hours, they may charge some extra charge from customers. They may take extra money from customers. So this is called intertemporal price discrimination. Similarly, railways also practice this, that if we are charging, if we are booking a ticket just 1 day before, then Tatkal charges will be higher. But if we are booking in advance, then the prices will be different. So that is also an example of intertemporal prices. Practice of separating consumers with different demand functions into different groups by charging different prices at different points in time. The service is same or the product is same, but the only difference is we are charging different prices at different points in time. Peak load pricing is just a variation of intertemporal price discrimination, where practice of charging higher prices during peak periods when capacity constraints cause marginal cost to be high. Two-part tariff form of pricing in which consumers are charged both an entry and a usage fees. So जो entertainment parks हैं उनमें maybe two-part tariffs are practiced by them. There is an entry fees, but the more entertainment outlets, there are different points. If we are using those facilities, then we have to make extra payment. So the tariffs have been divided into two parts. There is one entry fees, then charging different prices for different services inside that campus, inside that facility. So this is called two-part tariff. So two-part tariff. This is also an example of price discrimination, form of pricing in which consumers are charged both an entry and a usage fee. Versioning is also an example of price discrimination. For example, different laptops comes into different versions. I mean, a version for 1 TB, or maybe 128 GB RAM, memory, STD, and there will be another laptop for 256 STD, then maybe there 512 STD. So there are versions. Similarly, in mobile companies also practice this. Every mobile comes into different versions. Some versions are priced lower, some versions are priced higher. Then there are different softwares. So softwares have also versions. The basic version is available at a lower price, but the higher version is available at a higher price. So different versions. So if the product is designed in such a manner that it has several versions, and lower version, the price of lower version is low, the price of higher version is high. You might have noticed the same thing in the vehicle industry also. Every car has a lot of versions: petrol version, CNG version, diesel version, automatic and manual transmission version. Then a lot of other versions also: LXI, VXI. I mean, so all this is to practice price discrimination, that to charge different prices from different customers. A customer who is willing to pay more, he will go for the higher end model of a car. But if the willingness of the consumer is not very high, then he will purchase the lower version, or the base version of that product or that car or whatever it is. So this practice is called versioning. Okay, thank you very much. We will continue tomorrow, and we will start about talking monopolistic competition.
Thank you, sir.
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 Thank you, sir.